This is your weekend market recap for Friday, November 11th, 2022.
Hey everyone, this is my channel to help investors and traders develop a probability-based mindset to succeed. Also try and keep friends informed of what's going on in the markets and the economy, and also a little real estate content as well.
This is Dan Max at eXp Realty, aka The Trade, and this is your weekend market recap for Friday, 11/11/2022. Hopefully you're doing well. Great week. Not always easy week, but kind of predictable. We talked about JP Morgan putting out the notice that people need to buy puts if the CPI came in at certain levels. We talked about that being an absolute tell that they were probably selling unlimited amounts of puts to retail buyers. We talked about the cash on the sidelines. We talked about the seasonality. We talked about if October is in a crash, November is usually good. Talked about a lot of things that led to this higher action. Now we need to start looking at the evidence because, again, the evidence pointed to higher highs coming. But are we close to the top? That's what we need to find out. This is what these recaps are for. If you're not interested in doing the hard work, and you don't love the game, you don't love the grind, you just want the easy answers, I'm just telling you, you probably should quit. And I mean that nicely, not because you should quit because it's hard or something. It's just you're not going to get there. You got to love the process. And people who don't love the process, they don't make it to the top. I mean, you absolutely have to love trying to figure out what's going on in the market. It's a game. It's a game. It's a game. And when I say it's a game, like there's reoccurring rules, reoccurring things that are always happening. You can always bet on the market, trying to take the most amount of money from the most amount of people. It's not what you typically hear. Happy Veterans Day. Going out. Loved all the service. Anyone out there in the military, appreciate you. Appreciate everything you guys do. Country is built upon the grit of the military and the people who are veterans. I mean, it wouldn't be here. I always give them major respect. Put your life on the line for me. Thank you very much. At this point, again, y'all know the deal. Please stick around. Check this out. If you're not a follower on YouTube, subscribe, get notifications, posting stuff on Twitter. If you want to get in the Discord room, it literally is going to be open for 24 hours. After that, I'm closing it back. Closing it back up. All right. Twitter notifications. Here's the Twitter homepage. You can't miss it. Let's get into it. Sticking on to Bitcoin, typically that's where we start. So I apologize it's not on it first, but let's do it. What a week in Bitcoin. Now, I've said for months, it's kind of dead money. It got exciting this week. It tried to break out and then broke down. Right now, you have a massive potential capitulation or setting the next trap. I've said this 1,000 times. I don't own Bitcoin. I don't own digital currencies because I feel like the easy money was made. Now, it doesn't say they can't go higher. I just don't know who wins the battle. I like to see Bitcoin win because I know people have a ton of it, and I hope they get even richer off of it. Interesting back test of the trend line, back into the zone, auto zone. No, you're stuck in this VAP zone. Let me see if I can. It's more like monthly. It's this zone from 2020. What's next? Your guess is as good as mine. People are like, oh, you only like gold and silver and metals. And yeah, because I know they're tangible. They need it. I don't know who wins the crypto war. And I'm just going to say that. And that's all I can really say. If you are owning it, trade it. If you are short it, trade it. It's just hard to know. Oil. You're welcome if you bought this yesterday and you sold at the range highs. We talk about volume, price analysis, and we talk about support equals resistance, talk about operators. Well, support equals resistance, if you're not familiar, means what it means. Support becomes resistance. Resistance is support. You watch for these zones. We talked about 76 area. First major resistance from the past is now support, though, if that's even the way to say it. Here you go. Hold 76. Congratulations. We talked about watch for the first backup. Here you go. Head and shoulders bottom. Gets to the range highs. Backs up. This is why trading, it's such a trader's market. Look where it holds, the 85 level. Ding, 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 ding. What have we said? For the Feds to get stuck having to raise rates even more, we need to see oil go higher. For you to be bearish, you need to see oil go higher because that's the way the Feds get stuck. Right now, they're in the Goldilocks zone, right? Oh, rates can go lower. Inflation's subsiding. Not bearish near term, so you need oil. You need oil to put them in the picture because as much as we know is raising rates will not fix the supply. They're trying to fix the demand, and they love for the market not to go into recession, but love to see oil come down. Now, again, what's going on in the Ukraine and Russia? I'm hearing rumors of peace from the news. I don't think that's the case. People on the front lines, you can tell me whether you know it. Why would Russia? I mean, they've taken it this far. I mean, now backing off a little bit in the winter. I mean, they got checkmate potentially, right? I don't know. It just doesn't make sense. It seems very sneaky that all of a sudden it seems to be getting better right now, like through the election. Like, was this some manipulation game to get people to talk about Russia, to like attach it to some former candidate or whatnot? Sneaky. I don't know. Let's keep an eye on it, because again, I think the first support was 785. Next resistance is 93. You get through that, I mean, $100 oil would make sense. Like, that headline in itself, I think, would draw more people into oil. Nat gas, having same kind of stuff going on with Ukraine, I don't know. We talked about this being the broadening pattern. If you bought it down at the 480s, it rallied. Talked about you have to trade it. This is hard today because it didn't really get any higher, but it also didn't really make new lows. What's the best answer right now on this? You need more information. Now, a lot of people hate to hear that, but it's not making new lows, and it's stuck in between. It's stuck between, right? Like this area from the past is support. Well, all right, we're stuck in between. You talk about having to be honest with yourself. Well, you need more evidence. Not making new lows, not bearish. Chop sometimes precedes the what? Chop precedes the pop or the drop. Talk about that all the time. Hey, CF, we'll talk about you in a little bit. Let's get in there. The dollar. How many people said the dollar was going to drop? How many people said that? No, exactly. We're the only one looking at the evidence. And what do we talk about? We said, all right, it's flagging. We'll admit that. Talked about this candle right here, a doji. At the channel high, would need more information. Once it failed, we said, uh-oh, look out below. Said channel low maybe the 100-day. Well, again, as it keeps dropping, a lot of this was pre-market, keep in mind, hence the gaps. Please mind the gap. What did we say was next support? It's going to be this next chop zone, 200-day, old channel. That would be special. That would be special. Now, again, I'm not short the dollar, but it's helping the bullish thesis. We not agree? Check out the monthly. Right. Here you go. Talked about coming back in the 29s. Well, all right, you went slightly lower. I mean, is that... I mean, I remember... Wow, I'm trying to think of, like, the best... The dollar volatility is the problem, right? The market doesn't like it. Coming in like this... You know, we talk about, like, pop, drop, fake out to go higher. I think you have to assume that. The dollar got pretty cooking, pretty much cooking. I wouldn't be surprised if it has a long wick. I just don't know the low. The 200-day, now 28 level, seems potentially possible. Just remember, the more it screams down lower and the volume expands, remember, market makers are selling on the way down. We got to find out where the stopping point is. We don't know where that's at this point. We can guesstimate these areas, but we don't know. But as of right now, if the dollar's going... Oh, sorry, I didn't switch screens. Like this area, these gaps and this volume, remember talking about operators sell on the way down as well? After they've trapped people and they've accumulated, they want to now start pushing it lower. We need more evidence. Today isn't a day to say, oh, that's the bottom. Too random. Possible? Maybe, but I wouldn't bet on it. TLT, we've talked about rates going lower. That's a decent little gap there. Talked about, like, for months, like, leave it alone. Here you go. The market's going to like if rates stabilize. Because remember, 6-7% isn't the end of the world, but it's going to be a biatch for the federal deficit. So, how do they get rates lower? Maybe later they get the market to crash. I don't see rates going lower, TLT higher, if commodities start picking up. Remember, we're in the start of a monster commodity bull market. It will have birthing pains, as I call it. Right? It's going to have birthing pains. Talked about that. I don't know if commodities or the bond market's really going to be the thing to play, other than maybe a quick spike as unemployment goes up and a recession gets louder. After that, we still know that they being those in charge of the world governments are literally running. I mean, they can't even get out of their own way. I mean, they're not fixing the problems. They're just exacerbating. Wow. Okay, who told you that the VIX did not confirm the breakdown in October, September? This guy did. What did we talk about? Don't be surprised if the gap filled at some point. Nobody on this planet other than us talked about that. We said once it broke the 20-day, game over. All right, there was your first zone, cut right through it. Here's the next one, kind of chopped around. Please mind the gap. Here you go. Now here's what we think is going on. Just like in 2008, right before the big spike in the VIX, you had 2 months of backing up. 2 months of backing up. If we got down to 20s, I mean, this is where we're talking about OPEX. If you're not familiar with OPEX, please watch the video. Why OPEX matters, did that. If this gap fills, I mean, they usually try to murder the VIX. And when I say murder, Google, please, nothing, anyone, period or name, VIX, talking about the connotative direction of this getting destroyed. Losing life, losing its numbers, losing its integers, whatever you want to call it. Dropping. VIX termination, that's usually VIX weak. Well, guess what? Also, OPEX can be inflection points, because if they beat the VIX down enough, it can also be a top. Keep that in mind. Next week, put your red alert on. Look at the Stock Traders Almanac. Tuesday is bullish. November expiration day up 14 to the last 19. Dow surge in 2008 up 6.5%. There's money on the sidelines. I do not think we are at the top yet. I said that, and I said that. Let's go to the SPY. Nobody. Again, this is how we try to anticipate this by using the evidence. We talked about holding this range in the 20-day wasn't bearish. Talked about bear traps. Bear traps resolve higher. Nobody listened. Also a good point. NVIDIA earnings on Wednesday, Drew. Thank you for reminding me. This gap up, everyone's trying to short. I'm like, this isn't a one-day event. If you got another trap here down and then gap up, all those puts, everybody short, the dumbest money. And again, if that was you, you learn. You follow the freaking crowd, the masses, you learn what? They lose more times than not. That move, now people keep shorting more. Next stop, 200-day. I said 400 was coming. 398. Wow, pretty close. If today was the top, well, then that was still pretty damn good. I still think you're going to get into the higher ranges. Now, the bear market, they're going to scream, is over. That is what you're looking for. The bear market is over. It's time to go long, bears. That's what they're going to try to convince people of. And that's when we hear this, it'll ring in your ear like sweet melodies. And it'll say, time to short. Start looking short. Before that, I'm telling you, be careful. A lot of heroes on the Discord room saying, oh, it's time to short this and time. Again, I have a short as a hedge, and it's absolutely wrong. NDAQ. Be careful. I mean, if you want to layer in, I mean, it's just not going to probably be profitable. Y'all know I got March puts on NDAQ. March. Not December, not November, not even January. March. QQQ. What did we say? Had to hold this 260 level. Now, again, bearish, bullish. Check out the monthly. Repeatedly said this too. Be aware. You're at the 50 month. Be aware. You're at the 50 month. How much higher could it go? I mean, don't you need to bring the trash up to get people to really start believing the market's going to go higher? Welcome to tech going higher. Well, what's the next zone? Let me stretch it over. I don't know why it's not. This 50% fib, the 100-day. We're close. We're close. But you better be careful. This thing could go ripping higher. Bear market rallies. The average bear market rally is 17%. And when you say a real rally, like, you know, not just a little bump, I'm talking about a bear market rally, average went 17 to 20%. Do the math, right? That's going to be almost 50 points from 250. All right, well, look at that. 300. We shall see. IWM. How do you know the market's not going up? Because the IWM leads. We told you. It didn't even break down in October. It just retested. Making higher highs. Talked about getting into the 190s potentially. Well, there you go. We got in it to a day and backed off. All right. Is it over? Is it over? I don't know why that 50-day target. Maybe this was, oh, for this move. It didn't get there. So let's delete that. Sometimes you're wrong. Actually, you're going to be wrong a lot when you're starting off and wrong happens. How high can it get? Gummy high. I don't know. IWM leads. Until the IWM stops making new highs, I don't think you can really short the market and have what I would consider high confidence. High confidence, right? High. Take a break. Think about that. High confidence. I don't know. Let's buzz on to the golds. You gotta love. You got to love the game. We talked about, I mean, watch the video from 11.3. I said, and also Discord, tell me a reason why you shouldn't buy gold today. Talked about that. Started buying it post-Fed. Oh, that hurt a little bit. But then I saw the action and was like, oh, I'm going to stop. Hold on. Check this out. Let's this day play out. Remember at 151, I was like, because if you go below the low, that's a bear trap. And bear traps would do what? I remember people buying the chasing. I'm like, just let it pull back some. All right, you got a little pullback. Zing. Now what? Gummy high? No. 165. We talked about the range high. This is an old trend line here. The more you're up, the less you own. But if you bought gold down here and you did not let it run, I don't know what you were doing. You had to be patient. Because the market will rise with gold going up. People have this misconception that gold does the worst or the best when the market's going down. Wrong. All assets rise better when the market has what? Lower volatility and comfort. When people are scared, it doesn't matter. I know gold catches like this belief that, oh, it's better. No. Gold just does better with inflationary up markets. That's all it is. Now you're starting to get it. We've talked about the monthly showing you the what? Cup and handle. Dan, is the bottom end? Well, it's harder to say it's not at this point, but we talked about 7 straight months down. It was probably due to bounce. Is this the ultimate bottom? Hell, it could be. The volume really isn't there, but the price action was just brutal. Well, do I got to buy gold? No. Again, when they sell the market, they'll throw the baby out with the bathwater. Gold will get liquidated too when that next drop. But if you bought down here and you got your core position and you're letting it run and you're trading around it, high five to you, because that's how you do it. That's how it gets done. I still got a decent amount of gold. Loving it. Silver, talked about the 200-day. All right. And when I say decent amount, like, trust me, I'm pretty sure I'm going to toss it, most of it away next week. Might be the wrong thing to do, but I'll take 10 points and then it grows into 15 quick. Silver getting a little interesting around here. Talked about how, like, this previous comment, I was like, man, this is like the ugliest bottom you can see, right? Like this one double bottom, lower low, retest, another lower low, then rips up. I mean, silver is a nightmare sometimes, but you got to trade around it. I prefer to wait because, again, the best time to buy silver, when what? The Feds are pivoting. I don't think the Feds are pivoting. Here was your pivot in 2008. Here's your Fed pivot. We are not pivoting yet. Now, I know people are going to start talking about it, but that's just market maker, cannon fodder for dummies. Tell everyone you're going to pivot. Then they'll be like, nah, no, we're not. Oh, but let's mark up price first. Sucker! That's you. That's me. That's who they're trying to get. GDXJ, we talked about the 28 level. Go watch the video on that set. This is interesting. It's like if gold and stuff rallies, it's got to hold 28. GDXJ. Oh, here you go. Right back up to 35. Said if it could get over this level at 32.50, it had game. Look what it did. Remember we talked about like the pop, then the drop, and then the go. Here you go. Pop, drop, then go. It's like pop, drop, then go. I mean, I feel like that's some stupid TikTok viral thing probably going. I think it's stop, drop, and roll, but that's mine. Stop, chop, and then go. Stop, pop, drop, then go. Whatever you want to call it. Love that formation because it's hard. Again, it gets people out of position. Gets people out of position. GDX, same thing. Here you go. Getting into the next area. I don't like the large miners. In the next bull market of metals, you're going to want to own the Junior. The penitent man will pass. Junior. You can pass. You ever watch, was it Raiders of the Lost Ark, I think? No, it's not that one. Maybe, I don't know. With Sean Connery's the dad, you know? He's like, Junior miners. AG. 200 day. Talked about get back up into this 10 range. Hallelujah. Trending up. I mean, I don't know why I have the trend line. You can see it. And I can see it. Can you see it? I seen it. Samson. Gonna call Samson. How do we want to draw this next one? I mean, this is getting a little steeper. I don't know. Shiitake mushrooms. Probably something like, again, try to clone it out. All right, cat. You're in my lap. You're purring probably too loud for the video. You love your dad. Appreciate it. I mean, probably somewhere in the 10s. Nice trade. AEM. I hate how they're buying Yamana gold, but look at that. Nice pop. We talked about this one being good. Now this Yamana gold, I don't know. PAAS got drug all over the place, up and down. These names, remember, when the market gets beaten, they're not safe. Just keep that in mind. If you're planning on just going, oh, I'm buying miners for the long run, well, don't be surprised when they downdraft pretty damn hard because they're not immune from smashes. Market loves to kill the miners. Newmont, piece of junk. Piece of crap car. I've got the piece of crap car. Yeah, this is Newmont, piece of crap. It's so funny. If some of the friends from the Discord around like talked about how this was like an epic short up here. Yeah, look at that. Eric, Scott, I'm trying to remember who may have been trading miners. Not everybody in the Discord room trades all the time. I got a lot of friends that passive just watch. The Last Crusade. Thank you, Custom Bob. The Last Crusade. That's right. Got to take the 7 steps of whatever through hell. I don't know what the little things he had to do. I don't know. I don't like the large miners. They're going to be the ones buying, and they're going to have to raise a lot of money, and they're going to have to dilute their stocks. PAAS, this is getting interesting. Yep, I recall the all-time high. We talked about that being a trap, Eric. And it's epic trap. Trend is your friend. This is, you can't deny. I'm going to deny it. I'm a freaking rider. Whatever that song is. What's side? That's interesting. Can't deny the volume. But is that dilution? That's scary. Scary. So scary. I don't know if I want to buy that. I'll leave that up to be. I'll be late on those names. I mean, again, when PAAS is ready to go, I'll buy it at 18 if I had to, and it goes to freaking 100, whatever. AMD's nuts. Talked about this, how it held the channel lows. If the SMA started popping, man, you could have bought the 20-day. Wow, 59 to 73. Pretty solid. Now, again, we talked about some tech names looking better than others, or you could have traded them. SMH was something that was, I mean, this is clear, man. The 20-day. This gap, one-day event, I'm pretty sure somebody in the retail world was like, SMH. These names are up. We got a short. Made sense to me. But here's where knowing the market and just being like, you know what, if this isn't a one-day event, I'm just going to wait. Saved you a ton of money. I feel donations, and again, to the universe when I don't get into a trade that ends up being a huge loser. Because it would have been hard to not just be like, oh, I'll give it a day or so. Wham! Yikes. NVIDIA earnings Wednesday, as Drew said. Channel lows. Look at the cooking. I mean, things that we were like, this isn't bearish, y'all. Like the pullback in NVIDIA, I was like, that doesn't look that weak. Again, you might hate NVIDIA. You think Kathy Wood sucks, which she does. I mean, it's amazing. People, I mean, think about how much money she manages, and she's an idiot. Keep in mind, there's a lot of idiots out there. It's like Spaceballs where, Lord Helmet's on the bridge of that ship, and he's like, I'm surrounded by beep. He's like, are y'all related? And they're like, yes, we are, Captain. Oh, I'm Sergeant First Lieutenant Beeple, and this is my brother, and that's my 7th cousin. And they all have the cross eyes. You'll remember that? It's surrounded by a bunch of idiots. Well, that's the market for you. Some of these people I can't believe have the ability to manage money. But look at this. I think I lost people on that story. It's interesting watching the viewership spike up and down. You broke the channel. Again, is that the real channel? Let's draw the Vapa zones. Let's pull it. Man, that ain't it. That ain't it. Come on. $200 would be nuts. 110. I mean, that's bear market stuff right there. But it's the bottom. I want to buy the SMH. Okay. Long term. Now? No, you don't. Remember, who wins the tech war? Inputs, not the outputs. SMH, chips are the outputs. They need all of these little metals and rare earth metals and supplies. Their margins are going to get cut thin because they overproduce because of crypto craze. It's a bad long-term investment. Clearly a great little trade. SMH, let's talk about it. People are like, oh, you got to short it at 200. I liked it at 200. But if the market's going higher, I don't want to short it. NDAQ proved me wrong why shorting is wrong. Here you go. Getting a little squirrely here, but look at this. Look at that. Look at this. Look at that. VAP zone, 200-day. Fill some gaps up here. Yeah. I don't know. Would not be surprised, though, if we close at the high and then roll over. Oh, I've checked the monthly, my friend. Yeah, look at that. Look at this big monthly candle. The backside of the mountain. Again, you get some of these big green candles. Interesting note here. Close at the high for the month. Close at the high for the month. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Maybe we close at the high for the month. Oh, that would be... I mean, it's only November 11th. That would be kind of hard. Maybe, though, it's just a long wicker basket. God, that was just stupid. That was just so dumb. 228, 230. That's my next zone to watch. Now, if it gets there, don't just go all in short. Remember, we talked about layering in. Check it out. Most tops are retest and choppy, right? It's clear as Crystal Pepsi. Clear as Crystal Pepsi, or watch for the novice gaps. Remember, novice gaps. What did we say yesterday? This might be like the biggest island floating reversal ever. Remember, I'm writing that down. I'm taglining that one. Antarctica. That is the Antarctica island floating reversal. But guess what? It's a big island. It could be a big island. Interesting stuff. All right, rolling through some tech. Let's speed this up. Adobe. You're welcome. Talked about holding like this 278. Well, zip bow. Makes new highs. Getting in the gap. Please mind the gap. If it's going higher, it's going higher. I'm not in it. Don't know. Just something you watch. Remember, Apple, we talked about like getting down to the lows. I guess we need to open this up. Oh, not that. We need to open this little up. This is the zone now. Rally. Remember we talked about like, hey, be thankful you didn't buy the dip post earnings. Oh, because look at that candle. That's a trap candle. Now you look back on it, like very easy distributive candle. Went a little higher. Sometimes you go a little higher. Trap comes back to range highs. Why did I do that? Oh, that's interesting. It fits there. Now wide and loose. Have you ever heard the saying, if you're new to the channel, wide and loose, chop before the drop or chop before the pop? This is getting wide and loose. Think about 135 to 155. That's a big range. Wide and loose. Shaking out. Here is your last wide and loose action. What did it lead to? Hey! Look out below. And then you got this rally. I mean, Apple's tough. Don't be early. That's the thing I've always learned about Apple. Y'all know, like, being early can be painful, but you got to try to get nearer the highs. Amazon, wow. Popping back in. I mean, is it really going to get over 105, 106? I mean, this piece of junk, again, I like one tech stock. Y'all know that. Cursor, I highly recommend using the lock feature to help them fix them. Lock feature. Remember, this is Q charts. I don't think I have a lock feature. I don't think there's a lock feature. Sorry to interrupt, but no, you made a good point. There's not a lock feature. Why is this fib just busted? Anyway, remove it anyway. I don't think it's going that much higher. Keep in mind, Amazon. Wow, 0.25. Trend line, maybe 110. I mean, those are big moves. Tech, I mean, that's the thing. If you owned a little tech and you own the right tech, I mean, if you own Tesla, you're stuck. Got to be careful. Talked about what Meta, when they started saying they're going to lay off people and everyone went nuts, maybe it was the time to trade it, and look what happened. Somebody was buying selling spreads. I'm like, why would you do that? You just limited your upside. Man, you could have murdered it with calls. Selling puts to buy calls versus selling calls and puts. Ugh, I hate spreads. Just hate spreads. If you're going to trade something, get the direction. Anticipate it. Make the big money, not limit what you can make. Oh, sorry. CRM. Double bottom, W, chop zone. Here you go. To the left, chop zone. Get in the zone, chop a zone. Google, piece of junk, held the channel lows. Maybe the 50-day. Maybe it line. I mean, there it goes. There it lines up. The old Yeller, 99er. Old 99 ouncer. Can you eat it, John Candy? Can you eat it? Maybe it gets up here. That's crazy. I mean, these stocks, I mean, this is how you help build the case to get bulls to get what? Or bears to do what? Give up. Maybe get back into the channel. Maybe fill the... That would... Keep in mind, that move is still percentage-wise big, but it's never seeing 380 again. I will mark that in my life. I don't think we'll ever see Facebook make new highs. The company is dog crap. Microsoft loves when the dollar goes down. Guess what? It goes up. What a hard trade. Channel lows looked out below it twice. 2 bear traps. Look at that. How much higher? I don't know. Gummy high. I don't know. People are like, what's the... Tell me where it's going. I don't know. I don't know where it's going. Where are you going? Hit the 1.5 fib down. That was pretty interesting. Sorry I deleted it, but now we got a 0.382. Wow, you're through it. There you go, 0.5. Maybe the 0.618 when the 200. This is what's getting so hard. Everyone's so bearish, but remember, the markets don't top when everyone's bearish. You got to keep that in mind. But the data, we don't trade the economy. Shut up. We trade the markets. Man, it's always amazed people like, oh, the data. I'm like, the data doesn't matter. It only matters temporarily. You got to try to figure out what the market's doing. If economists were the best people to listen to in trading, they'd be billionaires. But Paul Paul Krugman, broke. Guy is a joke, and he's broke. You know this. And you know this, man. Dude is an absolute joke. Again, think of all the economists out there. Name a billionaire economist. You don't know one because they don't exist. Sorry. NDAQ started shorting it way too early. Way too early. This is the Coinbase of the NASDAQ. Once the NASDAQ loses all of its volumes because nobody wants to trade crappy tech stocks that are going nowhere for decades, this will get pulverized. You're early if you're in, like me. Be patient. Who cares? Not who cares. Like who knows when the top is? That's the wrong word. Not who cares. Who knows? Give yourself time. Don't go all in. I'm telling you, this layering in and layering out, it is game changing once you learn how to do it. If you're just an all or nothing trader, you are the mark. It's like going to the casino and realizing that if you bet the same amount every time, the edge is in the casino's favor. The goal is the plan is to vary your bets. Think about blackjack. The count is in your favor. Then you bet big. If you bet $50 every time on every trade, regardless, the market odds are not in your favor. You have to be able to vary your bets. Hence why layering in, layering out. When you're wrong, all bets start small. When you're wrong, hopefully you can catch it small. That's the goal. MicroStrategy, I don't know, man. Bitcoin, good luck. Some capitulation near term, maybe. I don't know. Moving right along. Netflix. This is so nice. Remember a nice base? Now I told you, like, hey, if you buy some at 250s, it's an easy hold. More you're up, less you own. Still own some. Nobody said anything about Netflix. I said this is the best because of its base. when it gapped up on earnings, and then it pulled back. Remember we talked about the first pullback should get bought? Like all the things we talk about, easiest trade out there. I mean, it did not give you any backup. Are you surprised? Are you not entertained? Maybe it fills the gap. At worst, it's going back to 300. Roadblocks, earnings, channel, nice. I mean, things that aren't bearish. Let's see what happens here. Wait for the gap fill. Maybe that'll give us more information. Tesla, I mean, someone's like, I did great trading Tesla. Okay, maybe Tesla's the next one to carry the market higher. I don't know. Elon's selling. He better, bad news is followed by good news. Bad news is followed by good news. Yeah. That maybe. Again, these stocks, good luck. I personally don't care. X, let's start rolling through the commodities. Nice. Very nice. Someone's like, I'm going to buy the dip. There's no dip today. Oops. Moving right along. Nucor. Interesting that they were down. Hits the channel or the range highs, backs off. That's probably a better dip. VALE, man, cooking. Of course, dollar down. Emerging market's going to like that. 200-day, cool. These are all stocks we like for the long term, but you have to trade them. I'm telling you, birthing pains. Arrow, wide and loose copper today. Wow, tempted to break out. Came right back in. Probably going higher now. Whew. I don't know. I don't know where it's going, actually. That, to me, doesn't look bearish, though. I mean, unless the market's about to implode. Man, that close is very sneaky. Keep an eye on it. CCJ. We like this long term, but I want this thing to get pulverized. I mean, it's solar, wind. No. Nuke is the freaking way to do it. Talked about it holding this level. Nice little bear trap. They resolve higher. Well, look at that. Hit the 100, 200. This one just has... I mean, again, they're doing this deal. I don't know if they got to raise money. I'm not even going to do that much homework. I'll just wait. CF. What a crazy day. Oh, what's up, Kat? Can you hear her? If you can, say yes. Turn her down. Push her out of my lap. Look at this, man. Breaks out, comes back down on the Russian headlines. What the... Now, again, if you've traded this thing and you talked about trading it, taking profit, and we're up, I bought some dips after I sold some rips. Trading around it, man, I got pretty aggressive into the close. Started layering in. I think 109 was my first. That was bad. Bad kitty. Very small. But then it started dropping. I'm like, okay, this thing actually has much more better risk reward. Check out the 10 minutes. Now, this is the thing. Like, when you go small and you're like, all right, I'll trade one option, two options. It's not the end of the world. And then you're like, boom, 10 options. Down near the lows, reference. Look at this close. Look at this crap. Somebody got to work, and someone's like 3,000 shares. I'm like, no. 8,000 shares. No. That's 401,000. That's 6. No, 1 million shares in the last 10 minutes. Who has the capacity to buy 1 million shares? Was that you, Lupus? Was that you, Drew? Was that you, Eric? Who was buying that? Somebody was buying the out of that. We'll see what happens. I'm interested. Let's look at NTR's close. Not as fruitful. Mosaic. That held up better. All right, we'll get into Mosaic daily. Back to the daily. Can y'all hear the cat purring? She just loves to sit in my lap. I don't know why. Oh, well, again, you might have opportunities on Monday. Mosaic doesn't look as bad. Made a new high, but in between. Again, we'll see what happens. UAN's another one. Man, that was green. Holding. We like these stocks because they look lower left to upper right. Right? Maybe. Right? Wrong. Why does my phone always think I'm talking to you? I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to myself through a microphone. Breaks over the 20, comes right back down to what? Support. Back test the trend line. Interesting. Added a little bit of that too today. Got pretty aggressive with ag names. Cat, get away from the microphone. AA. Man, the whole aluminum stuff, you got to get on my lap. You're getting too crazy. Look at that. Look. You got to love. We talked about the trend line at 50. Who took profits at 50 today? Raise your hand. I'm raising my hand. I didn't buy the dip, but man, it got back to 45.04. Was really looking for 45. Shade 45. Look at that. Comes right back. If you're trading around your positions and you're in names that you're comfortable holding overnight. Now, again, tech, hard to hold overnight. We know at any point a headline is what? Coming that someone's laying off somebody, something bad's going to happen. It's hard. It's really hard. Commodities seem lovely. Nice trading. If you sold at 50 and bought at 45 today, do the math. That's a nice 10-point spread, 10% spread, and then you made back another 5. It's awesome trading. I'm happy for people. I love it. Freaking love it. XBI dumped this, and then it rallied back. Things that aren't bearish. Breaking out over the high. I mean, this is the thing. It's really hard to get bearish when things are looking strong. Oh, XBI, I mean, I'm not really in it. I mean, you can see it. Taking out, as long as it's over 84, I mean, you got some VAP zones. I don't even want to pull them over because I get stuck, but you can see them. Low 90s, upper mid 90s. No Uber Eats. I am not hungry. Stop wasting my time. XLF. How do you know the market's going higher? Well, because guess what? If financials are going higher, the market is too. We told y'all this. I'm amazed how many people don't pay attention. Again, I do this every day because it have to get ingrained in my head. Like, what's going on in the market? How do I anticipate what's going to happen? The market wasn't going to fold over like a freaking lawn chair when financials were bear trapping and going higher. Even when the market was pulling back, look at these things. Barely. Bullishly pulling back. I guess barely is the best way. You can either or. Barely or bullishly. Now you're into the VAP zone. Somebody, some Sonny was like, I'm going to short financials. I'm like, I think you got to get to the upper zone of the broadening pattern. The 20-month is also up there. 36s. We'll see. It's hard to be bearish when the market's making, or when financials are leading. I say that all the time. Morgan Stanley, does this look bearish? Now, near term, it is getting into the upper zones. So put it on your radar, but like this is action that when we talked about pullbacks, I'm like, this doesn't look that bad. It just looks like more chop that led to higher highs. JP Morgan, real man of genius. Man, their quarter is going to be awesome. Telling everybody to dump their stock. 20% correction is coming. Market's going to dump. Rallies back up 35%. Tells everyone to buy puts. Keeps rallying. Freaking classic. Classic. Hip-hop classic. Solar. All right. You want to short it? Go right ahead. I think it still holds up pretty well. You can argue head and shoulders top. It's just shorting isn't the play. Market climbs the wall of worry. Let's wait for everyone to be confident the market's going higher. ENPH, wild day. Makes high-end range, closes down. Again, this thing is wild. Wild. Did make a new low, though. We'll see what happens. Good old Sedgerton. Even this piece of junk, man, got up to $299.90. What is this, like the freaking Wheel of Fortune? No, not Wheel of Fortune. Price is Right. Things that aren't bearish. First Solar, everyone wants to short it. I get it. Me too. But I'm looking at the monthly and I'm like, not there yet. I want to see that 164 area. Because if not, it could be doing this. And if it does this and it breaks out on a novice gap, call me. Call me, dog. USO. Talked about buying in the 70s. 71, sorry. 71s. Nice. Pops up. Doji. Doesn't look that bad. Nat Gas. Wild. Wild card. Y'all ever see Always Sunny in Philadelphia, the oil crisis episode where they're all playing roles? And what's his name is he's like, I'm the wild card. And he just pretends to be the Texas oil Charlie. Ends up being like the Texas oil tycoon who's the wild card, and he cuts the brakes and jumps out the back like, wild card. Here's Nat Gas. Wild card. Crazy. Up and down. Trade it. Trade it. If you didn't do anything today and you added, I can understand. Just to see what happens when this 18 level. XOP, what up, Drew? Nice work. We talked about watch this pattern on the, where is it, the 20-day? Right here. I was like, don't be surprised if it goes a little below it or test the 20-day. Look, we got 20-day. Nice. Gets up to the upper zone. I mean, is the market going to roll over when oil service looks good? Probably not. And I mean, good's relative, but holding up, right? You have leadership. Remember, this is the cheapest sector in the S&P 500 still. Long term, probably going a lot higher. Near term, see what happens when the gap fills. I mean, I would not be surprised if it made new highs. That would absolutely not surprise me, because what else made new highs recently? ExxonMobil. Nobody thought this was happening except us. Holds a 20-day. Here's the monthly trend line in yellow. Probably could go a little higher. I don't know. Can't even see it. This trend line is from like 2014 tops. Gets interesting. Oxy, nice trading today. I think it was Gemini Joe or whoever bought it yesterday at the 50-day. Nice. Fills the gap. I mean, that's a solid 6. I mean, these are good moves. And they're easy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I hate buying stocks that are upper left, lower right. These names I can understand. Like, oh, I don't want to buy stocks. I'm like, dude, these names are holding up because people trust them. Tax loss selling. You have to be worried about the face metas, potentially the Apples, the Teslas. They have sellers above. These stocks have free selling above, potentially, right? People are holding their winners. They're selling their losers. All right, end of the recap. Gonna open it up for a little bit of free chat. I appreciate everybody. If you have any questions, you know where to find me.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you have any questions, stop by the Discord room. A link is in the description below. Also, if you'd like to help support more free content, the PayPal link is in the description as well. I appreciate your continued support of the channel.